Season's greetings to everyone. Today is Christmas where I am, and so I thought I'd open up a special one today. It's the FuelMe model of the Porsche 964 or 930. I don't even know. Sorry, but we're going to take a look at this guy. It's Bourgogne. This one is named. Bourgogne is a region in France. This is, I believe, the second car in France by RWB. This, I don't know if this is actually officially licensed by RWB. Oh, yeah, it looks like it is. So, anyways, FuelMe's are pretty nice models. I historically have been impressed with them. What's going on here? There's a Porsche crest. It's a decal or a sticker or something like that. Alright, we'll get to that. Seems to be tape holding this thing together, or not. Yep, a couple dabs of tape. The RWB registry doesn't really give much information on the cars, other than the fact that it's the second one in France and it says it's supercharged. But other than that, there's no information on this thing. So, oh well. Alright, so that cover's relatively tight. It's not positioned properly. Alright, well, anyways, looking at the nameplate here, Bourgogne, I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Oh, and it even says number 2 of France. This is a limited edition, probably just this colorway. I don't know if they actually make other colorways, because this is a specific car, seeing how they have the name of the car. So maybe FuelMe doesn't have this exact model in red or silver. I don't know if they do that or not. I've never even thought about it. Alright, so I looked up, this car, and these are the images that I find. Alright, I'm assuming that's the owner in France. So it's gotta be nice, having first the money to have a car like this in real life, and then having such a nice replica of it made. So that's kind of neat. Alright, well, sorry, can't really focus on a photo and the model when they're separated by a certain distance. So these wheels are called 1552 Outlaws. I actually 3D printed these for a Hot Wheels project. So looking at this, it reminded me of that. And, well, I don't know if there's a brake system. Let me zoom in on the front wheel here. We have the idlers or idlers there printed nicely on the tires, and the tires do have treads, and they don't look like truck tires from the side, so that's pretty good. This thing wouldn't roll at all because the tires are literally scraping the fenders. What I'm trying to see is if there's a brake system back in those holes. It just looks like there is some gold back there, but let me get the flashlight. I just don't see why there would be gold behind those holes, or is there? Sorry, I can't even, I lost focus. I don't think there's a brake system. Oh wait, I see some holes, so maybe that's a cross-drilled rotor. So maybe there is. It's hard to say. Anyways, the openings in these wheels are so small, it's going to be hard for you to see it. I mean, that was 4 times magnification right there. Okay, well, the fender flares here have the little rivet or body screw marks. Looks pretty nice. Panel gap is okay. This door handle is painted black and silver, and it's sticking out, so that's pretty nice. I think like this wheel isn't really centered properly. This is an expensive model, so I'm going to be really critical. Right? You should be when you pay more. The side mirrors have reflectors, and they're separate pieces, so that's nice. The windows are those super thin, almost packaging plastic, so like there's almost no distortion really. You can watch TV through these. And then on the outside of the window, they seem to have like a photo etched piece of metal representing the molding, and it's painted black, so that's very nice. Going to the front here, we got some plastic inserted turn signals, so none of this cheap paint stuff. And this looks like there's maybe a little black paint in this opening. The canard here is a very thin piece. I would have to assume that must be metal because it's much thinner than a dental pick. And we got some texture in these grills. I'm going to assume those are separate pieces as well because the color separation is so nice. Then there's a tiny photo etched metal red toe hook there in the middle. And then we have some black paint representing the rubber silicone sealant or whatever that RWB puts on there. Or maybe this is a standard Porsche gasket. Possible. Okay, the headlights are clear obviously, and there's an indication of like a central light bulb, and then there's a little bit of that striation you see on the border, like the prisms of a headlamp. And then the ring surrounding it is painted black, so that's very nice. Must be a separate piece. The headlamps don't stick out in a ridiculous amount, so I think they look pretty realistic. If you look at the paint job, it's very smooth. I mean, look at the reflection of this. It's perfect actually. I mean, that's crazy. This is under magnification, and it's such a perfect paint job on the roof at least. It's a little bit more wavy down here, but it's still far better than most other die casts. Separate metallic wiper blades, and they are bent 90 degrees, I think, perpendicular to the windshield. Yeah, look at that. So that's very realistic. The RWB banner on the windshield looks like it's a decal or a sticker. It's some sort of air pocket right there. Gotta be very gentle. Alright. We'll get to the interior last. The fuel filler here, we got decent detail. So this side, I don't see any issues. Looking pretty neat. Well, if you look at the door handle, I think there's even a black dot for the key. It's not a dot, it's actually a vertical slot, like a key slot. So that's a really good, it must be printed on. Or is it a decal, that door handle? Anyways, that's the most detailed door lock I've ever seen in 1/64 scale. I am seeing a tiny bit of... Oh, thankfully it's just some dust, okay. Couldn't even see it with the naked eye. Man, that is a deep dish wheel. So I recently did a video on why a lot of models that look real don't roll. In this case, if you look how deep that, face of the wheel is, and then if you look at the tire width, that's why this one could never roll. If it had an axle, there's no plastic to grab the axle. So I'm pretty sure that wheel just has a, flat backing and is literally just glued onto the side of this casting. Maybe we'll take it off the base. I'm just afraid those wiper blades will fall off. Alright, look at this rear wiper blade. Again, it's bent 90 degrees perpendicular to the window itself. So very, very nice. And then the defroster lines are thin enough that you can still see the interior, so I guess that's fine. It's got a separate piece for the window molding again. A little bit of the metal shining through there. And then look at this engine cover grill. I mean, that's gotta be a piece of metal. It's so well detailed. I think it must be photo etched or possible, because it looks like there's air passing between. Well, let me get a different angle. Is air? It looks like, the way I move it, it looks like it's three-dimensional. Like there's literally something below that black grate. It's so small I can't even tell with the naked eye, and my phone screen isn't very large, but I have the impression that that's a metal grate on top of something else that's molded. So that's pretty sweet. Alright, yeah, ducktail here. Now what's weird is, why is there no Porsche written across the back of this? Is this literally how the real car is? I didn't pull up a rear image. It's possible. Maybe the guy took the badge off. So that's, to me, seems weird, but oh well. It's a custom car. I'm also wondering if there should be orange. In the rear photo I see a tiny bit of orange, but I almost feel like he painted the whole thing red, so you can barely tell it's an orange turn signal in there. Okay, the exhaust pipes, they're good enough. They're pretty round. This one maybe not as much, but there's a depression, I think. It's a small depression. It's painted black. No license plate. It would have been nice to have like maybe just an RWB license plate there. Alright, this interior. So the beauty of the clear, thin windows is no need for a flashlight. Look at that stick shift. It is so thin. That's the thinnest stick shift I've ever seen in 164. This red interior is kind of crazy. The dashboard has some details, some knobs and dials. But the instrument cluster, you can see that they're black dials in there. Oh boy. Sorry. 4 times magnification, trying to focus. I'm going to assume that's a decal of all those instrument gauges. Steering wheel has some molded details, of course. I do feel like the radio should be maybe painted a different color. There's no way that radio would be red. I can actually see the real photo. The face of the dashboard should be black. So, FuelMe, I think you're kind of lazy there. Again, this is an expensive model. I feel like there should be extra steps, more steps there. So, yeah, to be critical, that dashboard needs to be black, the face of it. Oh boy, but alright, so look at this though. This, maybe I'd rather just have those gas pedals and the brake pedals and gas pedals. They're bottom mounted like the real car. So if that's where the money went, I guess I'm okay with that. I'd rather see those gas pedals than a black dashboard. But yeah, ideally it would just have both. Okay, so now I'm seeing in this light, the shifter is a photo etched piece of metal. So it's not quite three-dimensional, you know, being a flat plate, but it's interesting. The e-brake, if that's what that is pretty weak. Maybe that could have been metal as well. Now you can see the harness. It's a decal, so not bad. Yeah, okay. No texture or anything like that on the floor. Maybe it's just a flat gutted interior. And then naturally you got like a roll hoop there. And what about the rear view mirror? Couldn't see with the banner there, but I think it's there. Yeah, alright, so that's a photo etched piece of metal, that rear view mirror. It's not really angled correctly, but that's alright. Okay. Alright, well, it's Christmas, so... And I don't see any tow hooks that are sticking out. So I don't see any mud flaps. I think I can actually take this one off the stand. So let's see what the bottom of one of these things looks like. I am going to have to take off my fingerprints later. Just hold this thing on down. Seems to be 2 plastic washers spacing it off, and then a very long screw because it's going into the resin of the model itself. Man, yeah, it is very light being plastic. So here's the bottom construction. It's interesting that they would paint the bottom red, but probably the real car is that way. Well, you know, look at this. So here's the construction. First, the tires are flatted out, but that's fine. I'm going to put it back on the base. And actually, real cars do have flat spots on the bottoms of their tires. But I'm trying to look at how the wheels are installed. I think it's just a giant black shaft there. Right? You'll see the tire actually isn't covering the whole wheel. And maybe that black shaft has the brake system on it. So the exhaust, yeah, it's some silver paint, but they're separate pieces. Okay. One thing I think that would probably be nice for you guys that are willing to take these off the stands is why wouldn't they print FuelMe here and maybe RWB Porsche or something, right? If you lost that display box, you wouldn't know what this car is. At least a stranger wouldn't know. A stranger would just be like, oh, that's a nice Porsche, right? So, but, well, that's that. Okay, well, now we know what the bottom of this thing looks like. So the tire treads, yeah, they're pretty realistic looking. Okay, it's time to look at a couple other models. So here's a FuelMe of a Gunther Works 400R. Which is another nice one, and coincidentally also has a red interior, but the Gunther one has a black and red interior, where this is mostly just all red. Now, coming back to this, why do I have to install my own Porsche badge? When the real car has the Porsche badge on it, this Gunther Works has a Porsche badge on it. So what the heck is going on there? I mean, FuelMe, you guys are charging a lot of money. There's no reason for me to have to put this on myself. That should already be on the model. So that's a big strike against you guys. I'm gonna guess most people don't want to sit there and put these tiny decals. And also, why is there only one? What if I mess up? What if I lose this? There should be a sheet of 5 decals. It's not like this thing is huge and probably, you know, why would it cost a lot of money? At least give people 2 in case they mess up. So that's a huge problem. That's yeah. What do you guys think about that? Right? Look up the cost of this model. Should you be putting your own Porsche badge? I could understand some random, you know, livery stuff, but this isn't a random livery thing. This isn't like putting a Sparko decal on a car. This belongs on it, especially when the photograph of the real car has it. Okay, so that's my gripe with that. Now, comparing to the best 911 I know of, is the makeup Porsche 911s. This is a Singer. It's hard to say. I mean, they're different 911s, but the Singer's interior is multiple colors. It's black and 2 different browns. And it actually has a very thin shifter. Now that I look at it, it's actually a better shift knob than this one. So yeah, I'm still gonna say this is probably the best of the 911s in 1/64 scale. But this also costs more, I think, usually than a FuelMe. All right. All right. Well, I guess in the end, they're still, all 3 of them are nice models, but you gotta pay. You gotta pay for that niceness. All right. Well, that decal puts a really sour note on Christmas. Bad. Anyways. Okay, well, anyways, enjoy your holidays, guys. Stay safe. If you're drinking, don't drive. And if you're driving, don't drink. See ya.